Well, with me now to discuss how Amazon is playing such a big role now for U.S. consumers is Carol Spieckerman, president of Spieckerman Retail. She joins us live via Skype from Bentonville, Arkansas. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's great to be with you.
So let's start by getting an overview of how Amazon has been responding to its customers during this pandemic.
Well, in some ways you could say that Amazon's taking a leadership role because they are prioritizing the items that consumers need right now. But it's a double-edged sword because that also means they're deprioritizing other items. And this could be problematic for Amazon because those Prime members that are the backbone of Amazon's e-commerce success, they're used to getting what they want, when they want it, and no matter what the category is. So the risk that Amazon is running right now is that some of those shoppers may jump off of the Amazon platform and explore other options, which they haven't had to do up to this point. But the good side of it for Amazon is that there has been this tremendous surge in digital shopping, and that's naturally just going to benefit Amazon because they're the top player. And that's going to bring more consumers on board the Amazon platform, and more consumers are buying more categories online as well, so that category expansion should factor in. So overall, I think that Amazon, it's going to be a net positive for them.
And clearly, obviously, they're hiring more workers trying to meet that productivity. Now, while that may be great for shareholders, how is Amazon dealing with its employees and frontline workers, specifically in terms of health protections or hazard pay?
Well, Amazon is taking some steps, but the upshot is that they've realized that they can't, treat workers like robots. People are not algorithms. There has to be that human touch. But Amazon is going to have to move faster, and they're going to have to be proactive, not just reactive, not just reacting to these, rebellions that fire up within their organization. But, there's a lot of scrutiny on Amazon in general right now, not only from a consumer standpoint, but also from a regulatory standpoint, particularly in markets like Europe that have much more stringent standards. And then here in the U.S. market, you have a political climate that's not exactly pro-Amazon either.
Right.
So the bottom line is Amazon can't play games, and they're going to have to stay on their game in order to stay on top of these employee issues.
And as you mentioned, even before this pandemic, we saw Amazon and other big tech firms under pressure from lawmakers over things like their taxes, their transparency, and whether they needed to be broken up into smaller companies. Do you think that their role in this pandemic might change that narrative, or perhaps highlight just how much power they have?
Well, the pandemic has drawn attention to all kinds of things, across all of retail. And certainly for Amazon, it's putting a spotlight on them. And again, the scrutiny is tremendous, and it's not going to let up. You think about how that scrutiny at one point was directed toward Walmart not that long ago, but now Amazon has certainly taken their place, and they're getting hit from all sides.
But is that scrutiny being translated in terms of consumers or even Amazon's bottom line?
Consumers at this point, in Amazon's favor, if you can say it's a good thing, consumers are very distracted right now. So the thought that they might be, keeping score in some way or in a punitive mindset against Amazon probably isn't true. And in the meantime, of course, we have this news cycle that's constantly churning, and it's a very newsy environment. So all of that's good for Amazon in terms of consumers perhaps being forgiving. But Amazon is going to have to think long term about how they can be a company that people want to work for, because they need a lot of people to run that platform. So this is not going to let up. It's not going to relent even after the pandemic. And they're going to be competing with so many other technology firms and, of course, other retailers for talent.
And obviously, one of the challenges when you have a pandemic, you see a lot of price gouging. And Amazon has been trying to spot and remove some of these coronavirus-related items where there has been price gouging. But a lot of these high-demand items, they get posted and they sell out quickly as people are panicking. What can really be done there?
It's a moving target for sure, and Amazon is making an honest effort there. It's one thing to look at obvious, true essential items or ones that have become essential, like face masks and hand sanitizer. And if the prices skyrocket and triple, of course, that's price gouging. But there are other categories that are tangentially being impacted by the pandemic: toys, games, things like that. And if the prices are fluctuating there just based on supply and demand, is that true price gouging? So there's going to be a lot of nuance involved, and it's going to require hypervigilance on Amazon's part to stay on top of it.
And just quickly, we have about 15 seconds. What do you see as the biggest challenge for Amazon at this point post-COVID-19?
The biggest challenge for Amazon post COVID-19 is going to be these employee issues and making sure that they don't overtake Amazon's reputation and that they can keep doing the great things that they do after the pandemic and avoid unforced errors.
Carol Spieckerman there, the president of Spieckerman Retail.